So yes, in this box we have the 4K version of Dawn of the Dead, the 1978 classic George Romero film. Originally it was announced in the 8th of February 2019. Now here we are in the early November 2020 and it's just come through the post. If you ordered from Second Sight website, you got this, not that I knew that, but you got this a little bit earlier than the street date, which is round about, I think, the 16th or the 21st of November. Not too sure at this moment, but I wasn't expecting this to come through. And when my email popped up and said that it's been shipped, I was quite amazed that this was happening, and I've seen some unboxings of this. But this is my unboxing of this one. Now I've noticed there's a little bit of, shall we say, on there, just a little bit of a ding. I hope this doesn't translate into any part of this amazing box set, because the main thing about collectors is they want their box sets to be pristine so we can keep them that way forever. So fingers crossed. You always got this type of little bit of whoa when you get it, just to think, is this going to be exactly immaculate as it should be? But never mind. Fingers crossed. I'm going to pray to the patron saints of packaging, whoever that was, and we'll get into it. Now I do know when I've seen these opened that they do have a lot of them big huge sort of like bubble packs inside, which keep it quite safe. And I don't think this box is causing me too much heartache, but I know that it just seemed to be a bit of a curse when collectors pay big bucks for these editions, and it seems that whoever packs them doesn't seem to realise that. If I was a person who was selling these, if I was the company president or whatever, I would make sure I had these wrapped up in the best ever way that you could ever have. So here we are. Just put that down for the moment. So you can see it's got the big bubble wrap in there. Thought there was someone coming in there. I'm just going to reveal in here what I hope to be an amazing, and I tell you what, that is heavy. That's it. It doesn't, I know it's going to look amazing, but it's heavier than I thought it was going to be, actually. Just putting that down there. I'm just checking the corners. And the corners are all pristine. And there you have it. Dawn of the Dead 4K. The best ever box set that has ever been, the best ever version of this that you'll ever have seen. It's released in the UK, and I would imagine you can get it on import if you live in the US. I know a lot of US people who live in the US do want this edition, and who wouldn't want this edition? It's been top of my want list for a long time. Now, if you think about it, it hasn't really been done anything with in the UK since Arrow released it in 2010. I used to have the Arrow version, and the Arrow version was good, don't get us wrong. I thought the picture quality was great, but don't forget, Arrow only had its one Blu-ray, and that was the theatrical cut. The other two were on DVD, which is all right when you think about you couldn't see these films at that point, especially the theatrical cut, the extended cut, or on here it's called the Cannes cut. Hasn't been released, and also the Argento cut was never released until then. And then Arrows lost the rights to it quite quickly, and then it became silly money. But moving away from that, it was a great package, and it has got a lot of good things going for it in the way of packaging, but the way for picture quality and probably everything now, this Second Sight has surpassed it. Okay, so let's get into this. Now, ideally, I'd like to keep the shrink wrap on in some form, but there's no way I'm going to be able to do this with having this the J card or the J box in here. So that's got to go. Never mind. Not the end of the world. Making sure I'm just going to do everything to make sure I do not do any. That would be great, wouldn't it? Sticking this into the box. Just going to turn that down a little bit. There you go. So yeah, so like I say, this has been a long time coming. It's one of those ones where I appreciate that it takes however long it takes. You don't want to hurry one of these things up and you get it, and there's a lot of problems with it. Sometimes I think they do jump the gun a little bit with these things. So they can take their time for me, as long as they deliver something spectacular, which they would do. Now this, like I said before, this is really heavy. It's probably heavier than I thought, even though there's a lot of stuff inside. So removing the J card, or the J box there, which I'm sure you've seen a lot of unboxings of this, but I'm just going to put that up there. If you do want to freeze frame your camera and see if you can just see what you want to see on there, there's got a lot of stuff on there. Basically, for me, I'm interested in the fact that it is 4K throughout. Every disc has been 4K remastered or struck from the original negatives, or a 4K scan of into positives and things like that. You get a plethora of making of and behind the scenes and special features, and that's presented on a Blu-ray as well, which is great, because sometimes you'll get these and they'll put them on a DVD, which is not really something you want in a version like this, a sort of a premium version. You would like everything on the best quality. All right, the extra disc isn't in 4K, but I don't think that's a thing that's going to matter anything. On the back you've got the classic, "When there's no room in hell, the dead will walk the earth." I remember seeing that on the original, I went to see it at the cinema around about 1981, 1982 on a re-release, and I remember seeing that more or less something a bit like this on the, well, you know, that UK quad picture. When you saw that and you saw this tagline there, you thought, there's got to be something good in this. Mind you, when we went to the pictures to see it, I don't think I'd ever experienced anything like it, especially not zombies eating people, which was something brand new for me. So I'm going to take off the top box there, and it's absolutely rock solid, this thing. There's no way that this is going to go anywhere. It's only going to be down to badly looked after if it doesn't stand the test of time, but it will stand the test of time at this. So I'm going to take out the stuff inside. And look at that thing there. Also, actually, yes, I've just thought myself there's something missing, and that was down to me just not taking because I ordered from Second Sight Films. I got the postcards as well, or the sort of art cards, or I don't know how it. Well, I'm just going to call them art cards, and they're in there now. I remember thinking, hearing that Leon Talks Films had said that these fit in the box. Now I'm just wondering, I'm going to try something here. Do these fit in with the movies? Because obviously I want to keep them in the best condition I can, and the best condition I can would be to have them all in the box. So I'm going to put these back in here carefully, and see if there's a space for this. If there is, great. If there isn't, it doesn't really matter. It's just something that I'm thinking of that, no, I don't think they're going to fit in there. That doesn't matter. But I'm sure you've seen these ones. I'm not going to open them at this point, but I'm sure you've seen these ones. Imagine if I throw the box away and put them in there, because I thought, well, they're not in the case, but they don't go in the case. So if you do order from Second Sight, you get 4 art cards, which I'm sure you will see them on a different video. Can I get this thing off without opening it? No, I'm not going to try that at the moment. Okay, so back to this. Like I say, this box is quite heavy, even without the discs in that. Especially the base of the box is really, really heavy. And I would imagine anybody who does a quality version of anything that you're going to put out as a collector's item, they have to include this type of box. If they don't include this type of box, then you're compromising the pack for me, and you do run the risk of this pack ending up looking a bit raggy over time, which you don't want to happen, do you? So you've got 2 holders for the discs, and they're set up in a really good way, because they are now going to be individually put in there. They aren't in some kind of weird cardboard arrangement, which I don't really like. I would obviously have it if I had to, but I'm glad that they haven't done it that way. You get your theatrical cut, which is probably my preferred version of Dawn of the Dead, although I do like the extended Cannes cut. I don't know why it's called the Cannes cut. There'll be something in here that explains that, but I've always known it as the full version or the director's cut. So here you have the music from the film as well. Now you've got the stuff from Goblin there, and I would imagine you've got all the little musical idents that they have in the film itself. I don't know how they've got 2 discs worth out of it. It'd be interesting to see exactly what they are. So I can't wait to hear them, just to hear what you're actually getting from this film, because I know that I do love the soundtrack of this film, presentation wise, feature wise, but that's not everything. The next thing you're treated to is a paperback novelization of Dawn of the Dead. That's a brilliant cover, that absolutely amazing. And I would like to see who that was drawn by. Unfortunately, here it does have a sort of epitaph for George Romero, who said he died in 2017. It's quite sad to see that George didn't live to see his Night of the Living Dead come out fully, although I know he was heavily involved in the project. And also this one here has maybe slipped through his grasp as well, which is a bit of a shame for him, because it's a shame when a director wouldn't realise the full capacity, the full version of their film. But this is a large book, this, and it's over 200 pages, and it's got a lovely smell as well. And I would imagine, well, obviously I don't think you would ever get this anywhere else but in this pack. So that's another great addition, one that I will read as well. And then the last is you get this really, and actually I think out of everything, I think this is where your weight is. This is where the heaviness is coming into it. You get this really great hardback bound book with tons and tons and tons of stuff in it. I think even Arrow would struggle to get a book like this, because it's so, the text in it, it's just page after page of text. You get loads and loads of behind the scenes pictures, and you get alternative, you just get mountains of stuff. Just can't really explain how nice this is. Might be I think the best book I've ever seen in anything previous to this was in the House quadrilogy that Arrow released, and the book in there was absolutely amazing, but this one here is just unbelievable. And I think this is the one I'll be digging into first. Now I do plan to watch all the cuts of Zombie, and I plan to do sort of like mini reviews on the different cuts and the picture quality and the sound quality of them, and what I've sort of noticed in them, if I've noticed anything different, because I am quite familiar with all 3 cuts. The last time I watched the Argento cut was a long time ago on the Arrow version on DVD, so that has got to be an uptick on there. I know they've probably the theatrical cut is going to look the best out of the whole lot, but for me, I can't think of anything more deserving than having all of this stuff presented the way it is presented in 4K. Believe it, 3 versions in 4K. Half the time you would never thought you would ever see the 3 versions in one pack again, especially not in the UK. It's always been something that's been a little bit like ignored. That's what I'm going to say. I know it's had a load of rights issues as well, so that's the other thing that makes this always pops its head up, especially with horror movies. The rights issues to horror movies are just ridiculous, and they do spoil, well, basically just enjoyment of a film. All you want to do is just watch a film, and sometimes you just can't get it for loving the money, and then you're at the mercy of the scalpers. We've all been there, haven't we? So these fit in here lovely. I'm not going to put the R cards in there. I'm going to find another place for them. They will live close to it, but not quite. This version is so heavy that I don't think I can put it on my top shelf, because when I put some on the top shelf of my shelves, it's got a tendency to sort of pull it away from the wall. I found that out with another version. I think a couple of Criterions were high up on the thing, and they just sort of like took the shelves. So I thought, right, that kind of happened. So just be like closer to the floor. But yeah, what else can I say? But Second Sight, you have done. This is probably the best version, special edition version I've seen of anything really. I think it tops Arrow's, or at least it's completely, on a level with it. It's definitely the best ever Second Sight version that I've seen of any film that they've done, and they've done some quite good versions as well. So for all who's waiting for this, I know Keith from Euphoria Pictures is waiting for this. It'll be heading to you soon enough, Keith, but wow, this is going to be something that I can't wait to delve into, and I'm going to savour every minute and every detail of this film, a bit like the zombies do when they eat people, especially the zombie who bit the woman in the neck and took a chunk of her neck off with it by accident. So there you go, Dawn of the Dead, 4K, second sight, $79.99, but I think you're getting a lot of bang for your bucks. And I know there's a Blu-ray version of this, which is probably maybe just even £10 cheaper. For me, well, it's if you haven't got the 4K capacity, just to mention here, this is the 4K only version. There is only one Blu-ray in here, and it's a special edition. So if you were to get this to maybe future-proof yourself for the future, just bear in mind you'll not get any Blu-rays with this. Because originally when it was put out, I thought you would get the 4K and the Blu-rays in the same box, and you had your option what you want to go for, but they split it into 2 packs. They might not do that on re-release, but never mind. That's what they're doing at this point. So thanks very much for watching this. I'm now going to go and delve into this, and I just think whoever's going to get one of these, they will be really, really impressed, as I am. So thanks again for watching, and you take care.